Remember that creepy granny? That's a yokai. Yokai are malevolent spirits with unfinished business. In Dandadan, these terrifying entities aren't just folklore, they are very real, very dangerous, and wildly unpredictable. But how do these spirits shape the world of Dandadan? So today, I'll explain yokai in detail and explore their terrifying power, their strange rules, and their deadly impact on our protagonists. So let's begin. In Dandadan, the world isn't just filled with extraterrestrial threats, no, it's also crawling with ghost-like apparitions called yokai. These spirits exist in a realm between life and death, and they have one thing in common. They are all bad news for humans. I'll explain everything you need to know about the yokai in Dandadan, why they are so dangerous, and how the protagonists, Takakura and Momo Ayase, manage to survive their encounters with these terrifying beings. What exactly are these yokai? In simple terms, they are the spirit of humans who have died with unresolved grudges or trauma. This makes them restless and malevolent. They usually show up as twisted, creepy versions of who they used to be. Here's where things get fascinating. Yokai in Dandadan don't just haunt random places, they actively target humans, especially those with a connection to the supernatural. They feed on human life force, driven by the belief that absorbing enough would bring them back to life. It's a chilling idea, right? But it's even more terrifying when you realize that they are willing to do anything to make it happen. Think of a ghost trying to get a second chance at life, relentlessly seeking out those who can help them fulfill their unfinished desires. In Dandadan, the yokai aren't just random monsters, they are deeply connected to Japanese folklore, but with a twist. They are terrifying, unpredictable, and often tragic, driven by emotions and grudges that we can almost relate to, with consequences far worse than anything we could imagine. Now, let's talk about the interaction between humans and yokai. You might think, okay, just avoid them, right? But it's not that simple. Yokai live in a spiritual realm that overlaps with our world, making them almost invisible to ordinary people. This is why they are often dismissed as myths and legends. But here's the catch. When they do appear, it's usually bad news. They are territorial, aggressive, and can cause real harm, even death. Worst of all, their sudden, unpredictable appearances make them a hidden danger that humans usually don't even see coming. This brings us to the heroes of Dandadan, Takakura and Momo Ayase. Both have strong ties to the supernatural, which means they can see and interact with yokai, and trust me, they are in for some seriously terrifying encounters. Like their run-ins with Turbo Granny and Evil Eye Yokai, these two yokai couldn't be more different in design, but they share one thing: unrelenting hostility towards humans. But how do Ken and Momo survive these dangerous interactions? Well, that's where it gets interesting. Every yokai in Dandadan is completely different, each with its own weird backstory and strange abilities. That's what makes every encounter a roller coaster of terror. Each one has its own personality, backstory, and a terrifying power tied to the trauma they experienced when alive. Take Turbo Granny for example, one of the fastest yokai, clocking in at a terrifying 100 km per hour. She is one of the first major threats the protagonists face, and her relentless speed makes her a truly formidable opponent. I mean, imagine being chased by your grandma, but she's running faster than your car. On the other hand, there is the Evil Eye Yokai, a spirit filled with despair, using psychological manipulation to wear down its victims. These encounters are where the series shines, bring something new to the table, and their creepy looks, these spirits keep fans on edge. But here's where the show gets even more interesting. Protagonists find ways to survive these encounters by using the yokai's own limitations against them. Yokai might seem unstoppable, but they are not without their weaknesses. One key limitation is that most yokai are restricted to specific domains. Within their territory, they are incredibly powerful, but outside of it, not so much. This gives humans like Ken and Momo a fighting chance. Another limitation is that yokai can be bound by pacts or agreements. Once a yokai makes a deal, they are obligated to stick to it. So they'll often find clever ways to twist the rules to their advantage. These rules are crucial to understanding how the protagonists manage to survive, despite being massively outpowered. They learn the subtle laws governing yokai and use these loopholes to outwit them, turning the tables on what would otherwise be unbeatable foes. In the world of Dandadan, yokai aren't just scary, they are complex beings with tragic pasts, terrifying powers, and dangerous motivations. But despite their overwhelming strength, the show also reminds us that every being, human or yokai, has limitations, and it's through understanding these limits that our heroes find ways to survive. Now, if you enjoyed learning about the yokai in Dandadan, you can watch another video of mine where I've suggested top 7 underrated anime to watch right now. I've suggested some great animes that every anime fan needs to check out. Click on the end screen to watch it now. Thank you.